This is going to be this is an exciting day, an exciting video. This is going to be covering identity. As you can see by the title, we started covering identity like 2 or 3 years ago. A lot heavily on the other channel and a few times here on this channel. And I feel like this is my roots. This is where I belong, covering awesome, ambitious games that are in development. Megaton Rainfall just released, and it has gotten an astounding positive review from the community and some people reviewing the game from like media sites and stuff like that, even if that matters. But the players matter, and the players have all got a really high opinion about the game, and that makes me happy. It really does. Good job, Alfonso, Pay-Dimensional Games. So today we're going to be talking about identity. I will be setting up a second channel so that way we could go ahead and get this, linked to like Apple iTunes or, until then, I've got some people that are going to help me transcribe all this, not transcribe, but get all this into an audio format and put it over on www.cobratvgnn.com so you can get the audio format over there. Plus, if you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm at XXX Cobra. Yeah, that's me. XXX Cobra. So you can follow me over there. We got a Discord down below in the description, so you can jump in there and talk to a bunch of exciting people. Start talking about No Man's Sky, Identity, Megaton Rainfall, and the game that we're also going to be adding to the channel here that we're going to be covering its development on is Everywhere, which I believe is going to be like Identity but different. I got a video coming up that's going to explain why I think it's going to be different. But today we're going to be talking about identity. We're going to be talking about the town square, not every detail, but some of the major details. Just some details. Get everybody kind of caught up to speed. Also, yeah, we're going to do that first. We're going to explain what identity is real quick with the Asylum Entertainment's FAQ, which I believe has a very good grasp, at helping people understand what this game is. And so we're going to go ahead and take a look at that real fast. But if this is your first time coming to Cobra TV, this is, it's awesome to have you here, and I thank you for showing up. If you want to support this channel, better than any donation is a subscribe. So hit that subscribe button and join the Cobra family here. This channel covers games that are in development, ambitious ones, like I said before. It's kind of like a talk show for gamers. It's, instead of having the political talk shows where everybody's yelling at each other and nobody's agreeing and nobody's saying sorry, you get to come and listen to games. You talk, listen to somebody talk about games. We also have a live show where people can come on and call into the show. We're working on getting a set schedule. We do it so randomly because my job's all crazy and everything. But we'll set up a schedule for that. But if you want to know when we're going live, when you could call into the show, follow me on Twitter, and I tweet out usually in advance before we go online, either a couple days and a couple hours beforehand. Okay, so let's go ahead and start talking about identity. All right, so first and foremost, let's go ahead and talk about what identity is, if you haven't heard of it, or if you've heard of it but you're not entirely familiar with it. We're going to take this off of their FAQ from their site. It says, many people are confused on what the game is about. Would you mind telling us what your vision for the game is? Is the game more about cops versus robbers, or balance between all available paths? The response is, identity is a cops and robbers game at heart, but it's a life simulator in so many other ways. Roleplay in any way that is possible for the first of its kind. Players have the freedom to pursue careers that will impact the player economy in their own unique way. Become a taxi driver, deliver goods to a player-owned business, fight fires, save lives, argue a case in criminal court, or just hold out your hand and beg for money. Find or steal your own identity. Now, it's interesting, this part right here. I'm taking off, I'm breaking away from the FAQ for a second. I want to put up on screen. This is a picture of, sent out a tweet, and it was a poll on Twitter. It says, how will you live your life and identity? Civilian, criminal, or law enforcement? Now, this is a powerful poll here because it explains a lot about what identity is. Now, cops and robbers at its heart, like you said, you could do crime. So imagine like the worst parts of GTA, all the running around with guns and robbing stores and and add a bunch of other stuff, selling meth and growing marijuana and things like that and selling it. But the important one on here is civilian. Now, if you don't like games like GTA, you don't like games where you're running around and fighting and shooting and You don't want to be harassed by an online cop in a police car who's trying to chase you out of a pot field or anything like that. If that's not your wheelhouse, right? If that's not what you like, then there is being a civilian. Now, this is where it becomes interesting because you could be a civilian and not get involved in any of that stuff. You could stay in all the safe places or stay relatively safe. You could have a job. You can have a career. You could own a store, and you could, just play it like it's The Sims or like it's Second Life. And you could buy a car, own a car, and all this stuff, and live the way you want to live. And now there are, there's going to be trolls. There is going to be trolls in this game. But we have police officers, online police officers, that will do their job and make sure that anybody out there trying to troll will be arrested. Now, this does work. I know it doesn't sound like it would work, but I used to play a game when I was covering the development of No Man's Sky called Altus Life, which is a mod for Arma 3, and it is a cops and robbers mod made by the same people who are making Identity. Okay, now it does work. People get arrested when they do things wrong. Cops do random stops to make sure you're not carrying any weapons that you don't have a license for. They respond to player player reports saying that they were shot at. They will cruise around. They will find these people. They will arrest you, and there is a prison in Altus Life where they will detain you and keep you there. And there's also a prison in Identity where they will detain you and keep you there. That's the interesting part about this. There is consequences for trolling. They're not going to get away with it. And there's no permadeath in Identity. So if you're there are certain items that you'll lose, but you're not going to lose anything you did to customize your character. You're not going to lose shirts or shoes or pants or other things. Your character doesn't disappear. You don't start all the way over. You die. If you're carrying money on you, you'll lose it. So, have a bank account, you will, and keep most of your money in there. So, you could live this as a Sims game. You could live this as a Second Life game. Just, have friends and go over to their apartments and drive and, play games like there's, we're going to talk about it in an upcoming video. There's side games. Like there's going to be paintball. A paintball course where you can go and pay and have paintball wars. So yeah, you can live as a civilian. You can live as just a normal person, not get involved in all this crap. And so that's really cool. That's cool. Okay, let's get back to the FAQ. And that's what makes this game really revolutionary. It really does. What can you tell us about the world size, player limit? Identity says, we anticipate the playable world size will be 200 square kilometers or 77 square miles in comparison. Now, this could possibly have changed already due to a blog post that they have announced. I don't think they're officially changing it yet, but the possibility is there for them to be able to change the size limit. I don't know if they're deciding yet or not. We're going to be talking about that in our next video. This means that the whole map is 14 kilometers wide and would take about an hour and a half to walk across the entire map. We hope to support up to 300 players or more per server. Now, the or more, it has a lot in common with what I want to talk about in the next video, where I was saying that the map could actually be bigger if they wanted it to be. Their whole concern is making a map that's big enough to where 300 or more people can fill it and it work like a civilization. It works like an actual place, an actual town. So that way it's not so big that you hardly ever run into an online player, that if you purchase something on the internet, another online player is not going to have to drive for an hour just to go and deliver a kitchen table for you. So they want to make the map just big enough. They want it big. Don't get me wrong. They want it big, but they want to make it big enough to where everything gets, it fits perfectly together. So that way services and stuff like that actually work very well. Okay, so can you expand on the professions? We know there will be cops, but what types of jobs will be available for civilians? Will they be able to create their own business, create their own items, etc.? Also, medics and firefighters. Asylum responds by saying players can choose from a wide range of professions, including the ability to become a firefighter, EMT, taxi driver, farmer, bounty hunter, fisherman, logger, miner, delivery driver, and even a business entrepreneur. The options available to you as a player get more specific than this even. But we aren't yet ready to expand on the full list. The directions of development is prone to change, and we don't want to make promises. We don't want to promise anything that might change down the pipeline. Business ownership allows players to own factories and small businesses, giving them control over what items are manufactured and sold. Items created by a factory must be delivered to their destination city, where store owners in that area can decide what quantity and type, formal wear, casual, punk outfits, weapons, etc. They wish to list in their business. Some default items are always available in all stores for when market demand is not met. So what he's saying is you could customize what's being sold in your store by what you want in there, but there's always default items if you run out and don't replenish. So what's important here is, you know, how he says that that the options available to you as a player get more specific than this even. Now, you can have unofficial jobs. Like, say you want to be a bodyguard. Well, if bodyguard is not a career and identity, then simply me, as being rich, I can pay somebody a good amount of money to be my bodyguard while I go to an exchange with a drug dealer, or why do I go to exchange with or a meeting with my gang members or something. He can accompany me and make sure that I am safe, and I can pay him that. Now, even if that's not an official job and identity, I can make it official by paying him to do that. So that's really cool as well. It's something to think about. There's freedom. There's freedom there. Okay, let's go ahead and go over some of these really, really quick. We're lingering too long on the FAQ here. How will death be handled? When a player dies, some items such as the money the player is carrying at that time will be dropped on the ground and will become accessible to anyone in that area that wishes to take it. Clothing items will never be dropped. We have decided that a player's character appearance in a social game-like identity is important. You will always look the way that you decide your character to look. If the player is not resuscitated by an EMT, actual online player, or a teammate, the player is then prompted to respawn at the location of their last sync, house, apartment, city. Private servers have some control over what types of items players will drop on death, if any at all. Can you expand on how the housing system will work? Size and availability of apartments and houses. We got more on that coming up at the later in the week. We have a video coming up later in the week that's going to be about housing and things like that. Players can choose to own or rent housing and identity, while apartments can also be shared with a friend or roommate depending on the size of the property. So it's got to have more than one bedroom if you want your friend in there. You guys can't bunk. For instance, two friends or a married couple can choose to purchase a two-bedroom apartment where they both can live comfortably with each other. Apartments and houses are fully customizable, allowing players to place furniture and objects anywhere in the room. Homeowners can invite other players to their apartment or house at any time. Players cannot access another player's home without an invitation. So the homes and everything, when you go inside your home or your apartment or something like that, it's a different instance. Like it's its own thing. And the reason why they do that is because they could have made a live transition from the world you're playing in to the inside of your apartment, so where you look out your window, you can see what's happening. But they wanted to make sure that the apartments or your house and everything worked really, 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 really well. Super polished, and lots going on inside the apartment. So they didn't want any lag. They didn't want any limitations even when it came to you being inside your apartment or your house. So it's like a separate instance. It is a separate instance. So there is that. Will there be any specific safe areas where people can go AFK or just sit and socialize without being killed or robbed? Their response is, there are safe zones with certain types of buildings in identity, metal detectors to preserve immersion, and will temporarily remove any weapons upon entry, allowing all players in the game to safely relax, socialize, and meet new friends. These safe zones are known as sub-hubs, or social gathering points that reflect on the lifestyle theme of their environment: biker bar, business club, bum alley, etc. While many of these areas can be accessed can only be accessed by law-abiding citizens. Some sub-hubs are neutral and can be entered by any player on the map. Few areas are designated gathering points for active criminals looking for the right crime of opportunity or new friends to help them plan their next heist. So that is a brief run through about, kind of what Identity is about. It's a life simulator or a criminal simulator or a police simulator. They really want this game to feel like it's like another reality. A lot of players, a lot of people, I see comments on all Identity videos all the time. It's like, why do we need that? We have the real thing right outside the door, perfect graphics. You're not selling meth, are you? And if you are, shame on you. Shame on you for cooking and selling meth and killing people for money. And, if that's your life simulator, if you don't, if that's what you do on a normal day basis and this game's nothing to you, there's more conversations to be had there other than a video game. But I'm super excited. So let's get into talking about Town Square. Town Square, it's getting ready to hit us. They're at 89% completion at the moment. So what is Town Square? It's a module, okay? It's a module. What they're going to be doing is they're going to be releasing several modules that we can get in and test the game out and play the game. This is not the entire game, but we can have fun and playing parts of the game, portions of the game, until the game is, while the game is being completed. And I think that's really cool, especially for backers. And this is for backers. And I don't think it's too late to be a backer. All right, so here's a brief rundown of what Town Square is like. The Town Square is the first Identity module set for release, available to all pledgers with access to the game beta testing phases. As a social module, the Town Square will allow you to create and customize your characters, meet new friends, and enjoy a handful of interesting and fun things to do. This is your first preview of what's to come in Identity. Identity's Town Square, a closed-off section of Ash Hill City Center, gives you a sneak peek at some of the items you've received from pledging to Identity. I get a baseball cap. My character gets a baseball cap. With a few dozen people per Town Square server, you can hang out and play games with other Identity fans while waiting on future modules and the full Identity world. Some of the features include character customization. After creating your character, you'll find tattoo parlors, barbershops, and even more to help achieve a unique look. All those social bits. You'll have no trouble making friends with Identity's world-class voice communication system. When you do meet new people, add them to your friends list using your in-game smartphone. Your contacts will even carry over to the full Identity game. What's cool about the smartphone is you literally get your own phone number in the game. Yeah, you get your own phone number. So if you want to, communicate with somebody, you have to ask them their phone number. I think that's really, really cool. If you pledged to Identity's development and received an apartment or penthouse, you'll be able to explore all of its features, from decorating to furnishing, see what you could do with custom housing, and make your own or invite friends to join you. Now, here's something pretty cool. The cinema. The Ash Hill Cinema has only one screen, in contrast to the enormous cinema in Westport, although you'll find real movies playing around the clock. It's a great place to enjoy the classics with new and old friends. Now, they say classics. I'm pretty sure that they have to use Creative Commons type movies, movies that don't have copyright, or maybe movies that they pay little, that weren't expensive for a license to show them in the game. But it's cool nonetheless. Food and drinks and drugs, popcorn for a movie, coffee and beer, or maybe something not on the menu. It's all here in the Town Square for those looking to quench their thirst and have some fun. So everything we're reading here, this is all Town Square things. These are things we're going to be able to do in the Town Square module. Art and drawing, including an art gallery. Grab a canvas and some paint and show your artistic talents or whatever it is that you have. Those who really know what they're doing could find their work on the walls of the prestigious Ash Hill Art Gallery for all to see. That's cool. Yes, you could actually paint in this game. Read real books or write your own. A small library is filled with real classic stories and novels for you to enjoy. For a nice place to read, you might find others in the coffee shop listening to real-world radio stations. Gosh! If you want to share your own adventures, not only can you write your own books, but you can even submit them to the library for thousands of other players to read. You know how many people that I know that are going to love that? I had an ExploreNMS forum. It's still there. Nobody goes to it anymore, but it's still there. And people have written so much fan fiction for No Man's Sky and other things in space and stuff like that. And it is amazing. It is amazing, some of that talent that's in there. It's on my forum. I can't believe it. I mean, these people should be novelists. So for people like that who could sit there and write a book inside this game, and then have it in a library for other people to go and look and pull it out of the library and read your book, your stuff, that's amazing. That is amazing. Let's continue. A fully functional karaoke bar. That's amazing. I'm going to have so much fun with that. I'm going to get kicked out. The karaoke bar is full of absolutely terrible singers and only a few decent ones. Whether you're talented or horrible as the Asylum team, karaoke with a bunch of other players is always fun and usually hilarious. I'm going to be spending a lot of time in that karaoke bar. Guaranteed. Goes on. Plus additional content added regularly. These things the great thing about identity modules is that it lets us share some of the cool and fun stuff we create before identity is ready itself. Did I read that sentence correctly? I don't know. Moving on. We'll continue to expand the town square with new content and games all the time, right up until Identity hits the shelves. Now, there are some other things that we could talk about Identity. Some other things like the bike shop. You will be able to go and look at the bikes and go into the bike shop. There's a clothing shop. And there is, let's see, the art gallery, the library, the cinema, getting your house all set up and ready, meeting friends, getting to know the neighborhood that you're going to be in and things like that. It's absolutely amazing. This game's revolutionary. And these guys, a lot of people say, oh, they're too ambitious. This can't be done. Come on, man. It has been done. It has been done in Altus Life at a very basic level, but it relied on being a mod to Arma 3. So now these guys are making a freestanding game of that, and better and better. I mean, one of the features of this game is shoplifting. Like, if you own a store, you can design clothing or buy clothing from a manufacturer and sell them in the store, and you can make money from it. Another online player can come in and either choose to do what's right and purchase, or they could steal. We're going to go ahead and read one of those features about shoplifting right now. Let's see. Okay, this is from one of Identity's blog posts here. Shoplifting is a reality in Identity, although it's often not recommended. So it's not going to be easy for you guys. So don't think, oh my God, people are going to troll me. I won't even be able to own a store. If you're not skilled, and most people won't be, there's got to be a reason why they're saying that. There must be, it must be something that's going to be very difficult to do and get away with. You'll set off alarms and have a hard time getting away. You'll likely spend time in jail for that attempt. Expensive items can also not be shoplifted for game balance purpose. Even something so simple as using a shop gives freedom and opportunity that not found in any game before. So there you have that. Even though you can shoplift, it sounds like they're going to make it something that's extremely difficult, and that's probably something they're adding just for excitement. Just something exciting to do. A funny way to die. I'm sure people can get away with it, but I think it's going to be set so difficult that you're not going to be able to get away with it all the time. So, these guys, they found ways. You got the police officers in this game, okay? And these people that play these police officers, they take this seriously. They do. Go download Arma 3, play Altus Life. Play that game and see the way that these people playing police officers in there are taking this thing seriously. I mean, they use real police codes. They use real respect to their officers, to their senior officers. They don't do police brutality, because if they get reported, then, if they're arresting you for something that's wrong, that's serious to them. Okay. I know that sounds silly, but that's serious to some of these sergeants and sheriffs and things like that. So an officer has to abide by the law, because they can get kicked out of the police force. They can, and they have before. They have. And that is one of the things that a lot of criminals will try and pull as they're getting arrested. They'll say that they'll lie, and you hit me, and you didn't really have a gun. You planted that gun on me, and things like that. This is stuff that really goes down in Altus Life, dude. So to take Altus Life and say that it's difficult to add in a feature to where you can walk up and try and steal something is too ambitious. It's not. It's not ambitious. It's just a feature that's not been put into. It's like going in GTA and robbing a liquor store. You know what I mean? But this game is it's gonna make waves, negative and positive, negatively and positively. This game is definitely gonna try and break the mold, and so is everywhere. So that's all I have for you today, guys. There's more in Town Square that we could go over, and we will go over in the upcoming videos. But it's good to be back covering an ambitious game in development. I'm happy this is right where I feel like I'm supposed to be. This is the role that Cobra's supposed to be in. So stay tuned for an aggressive campaign of covering Identity and Everywhere. And some other games as we come across them as well that are ambitious. As always, I love you guys. Thank you so much for coming back to Cobra TV. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you like the video, throw me a like. And also, check out the other places you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on, the links are down there. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. I will see you all in the next video. Until next time.